In a courtroom where truth stands against paperwork, one man takes on a dealership giant. A battle for honesty, proof, and justice, where every word, every document could change everything.
Sir, thank you for being with us. All right, who do I have on behalf of South Point Honda? I'm sorry, South Point Hyundai.
My name's Ashley Callahan. I'm the lawyer for South Point Hyundai, and I have also with me a client representative who can testify if needed, Mr. Darren Witt.
Good afternoon, Mr. Callahan. Good afternoon, Mr. Witt.
Your Honor, is the share screen function disabled?
Yes, typically we can grant it to you, Mr. Callahan, if and when the time arises. We do not allow it because can you imagine the things that pro se parties might share unintentionally? Although I'll be honest, I've had counsel completely share what they were doing. So, it happens. Yeah. So we do allow it, but we always give sort of limited instructions before we get to it.
All right. No problem.
All right. Well, good afternoon to everyone. Mr. Hegivari.
A man walks into court, armed not with a lawyer, but with truth. His claim? A Tesla. That wasn't what he was sold.
I understand that by appearing in court and offering testimony, you're swearing or affirming that you'll tell me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under a penalty of perjury. Do you so swear?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right. Mr. Hegivari, I read your petition. You say that you purchased a used Tesla from the defendant's automotive group, and that at the time you purchased the vehicle and the paperwork you were given, the vehicle was titled as was described as a long-range all-wheel drive model.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
But that after you purchased the vehicle, you later discovered that it is not a long-range all-wheel drive. Yes,
Your Honor.
So is it neither, or is it all-wheel drive but not long-range? Or
it's a standard range all-wheel drive model. They just called it Model Y all-wheel drive. It was a special release by Tesla.
It is all-wheel drive, but it's not long-range.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you're suing essentially for having overpaid.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. How much did you calculate as the damage?
So the breakdown overpayment is $3,000. The loss from having to resell the vehicle, $1,500, and then filing and service cost $150. Total $4,650. Very conservative estimate.
All right, so $3,000 you overpaid because you wouldn't have paid that much for the standard range, and then $1,500 is what you thought you sold it for the loss.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you calculate the $3,000 for overpayment?
It's from the original documentation where basically they said that the starting price between the standard all-wheel drive and the long range is basically $3,000 is the difference. It was stated by some news articles and whatnot that I found.
So that's something you heard from the dealership in this case. That's something you found when you were researching the difference in the two.
Yes, Your Honor, and also you can see it in the document I provided where Tesla offers for the trade-in value. It's significantly lower than you would get for a long-range model.
Let's take a look. You said that's one of the things you submitted?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the trade-in estimate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's take a look.
And the contract is there as well, if that's the once I made it through the whole process. So it took me actually a couple of weeks. So Teslas are kind of strange, because this was a used model. That means someone else was driving it before. Mm-hmm. So they have like a range calibration system.
In a courtroom of calm faces, a storm brews over a simple question. Was a Tesla truly long range?
To recalibrate as you drive it. So first I saw that it has significantly less range than what I expected. I thought that maybe someone was just driving it like crazy. So I started driving it right and, wanted to see if it would recalibrate, and it didn't. So then I started researching, and I had to forum deep dive and whatnot. And then finally someone mentioned that, hey, you might have this one special version that I never knew even existed at that point, right? And so I started researching that, and I found out, yes, I indeed had this one special version. So this was not this release was not something that was like a loud release. This was only released in a few months in 2023. Tesla did not offer it as like a new purchase. They only sold it as part of their fleet as used, I guess. And only like a couple thousand of them was sold from what I understand currently. So anyway, when I really confirmed it is when I reached out to Tesla and they gave me back that document, the estimate, because it states there that it's a Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive, not a Tesla Model Y long range. So that was the confirmation that it is indeed.
Mr. Hegivari, you bought a car in
Yes, sir.
March of 2024. You began
Yes.
to drive it, and you realized
Yes.
that it wasn't giving you the performance you expected from a long-range vehicle.
Yes.
And then through your own investigation, did you become to suspect that you had that what you had was not long range?
Yes.
And then you gave it to Tesla, and Tesla confirmed it.
Yes.
And that's what this document is.
Confirmed that this is a special version of the standard range, basically. Like I said, only a few was released, basically, in a short time frame.
Mr. Hegivari, do you have anything from a dealership, from a mechanic that says this is not a long-range Tesla?
Evidence is everything. And today, one missing document might decide the fate of an entire case.
What you're suing for, what yours, and I get it, and I saw the documents. You're right, twice in the paperwork it says long-range all-wheel drive. What you're saying is that you didn't get a long-range Tesla. What I'm asking is, do you have something in writing that says this is not a long-range Tesla? Because the trade-in estimate does not do that. It's just silent, which is not the same thing. I needed an affirmative finding or a mechanic to say that's not what he bought.
So it's just to make sure it's not that it's silent. The Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive is the actual name of that model. It doesn't have anything else to it. It's literally called Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive.
I can understand that, Mr. Hegivari. What I'm saying, though, is that you're suing because a feature you purchased doesn't exist. That's your allegation. That in the contract, and I see it twice, it describes the model you bought in the sales contract and in the insurance one as a long-range all-wheel drive. And if I understand your lawsuit, you're telling me that you did not get a long-range all-wheel drive, that you just got a standard range. And what I'm asking is, do you have something from a mechanic or from Tesla confirming that? Because what you're saying is, well, that's the name of the car. The name of the car does not prove to me that it's not long range.
So the only way I can answer that, Honor, no, I don't have a separate document that specifically will say that, no, this is not a long range. But if it was a long range, then it would say it's long range because that's part of the name of the car.
And see, that's it, Mr. Hegivari. You don't work for Tesla. I don't know that. I've never owned one of these cars. So in order for me to believe you, you need evidence. How did you come to know that the title must say long range?
He believed he bought the future, a long-range machine. But what he got instead was a range of doubts.
On the documents, and also when you look on the computer of the car, it will say long range for every long range. I don't know how else to prove it because I don't have the car anymore. So I mean, I have the contract where I sold it. There's that. That should say also all-wheel drive. I believe I included the contract where I sold it to Tesla.
You sold the car back to Tesla?
Yes, that's the trade-in estimate is from them, and then I went through with the purchase because I wanted the long-range one specifically, so I ended up purchasing the long-range one afterwards.
Mr. Callahan, I'm curious. Mr. Witt? I know nothing about Tesla titles. Is that correct? If it was long range, would it have to be in the title of the car?
I don't necessarily think so. I've learned a lot more about Teslas in the past few days getting ready for this than I ever knew either, because we're not South Point, we're a Hyundai dealership. We do trade-ins. So we take trade-ins and then we resell them in the used car department, which Mr. Witt is in charge of. The way we find out what a car is by entering the VIN number into a tool that we have called Provision. And that's what I wanted to share with you was the Provision printout that we did when we took this car in. and then we entered the VIN number in. It produces not only, it gives all the details of the car that are associated with the VIN number, and then also multiple estimates of value from various sources. That's how we determine how much to offer a customer on trade-in. We also need to offer them less than what we think we can sell it at retail for.
Every contract told the same story: long-range, all-wheel drive. Yet the truth, perhaps, was buried under paperwork.
Is lower than what Tesla was offering or did offer in their trade-in view. It's very critical in that Tesla offered to take a trade-in. They're offering him less money because, one, it has 3,000 extra miles, and two, they're taking it on a trade and they're going to need to resell it. They obviously have to pay less so they can sell it for more.
Yeah, I all want to make money. I got that. I'm just trying to find out if his car is long range or not, right? Like, I'll show you one of his documents.
All we know is putting it in our system, which is what we did, and that's what it came back as. I mean, we're not a Tesla dealership. All we can do is go by what data is associated with the VIN.
Okay.
And that's how we do it.
So your client put the VIN number in. The VIN number spit back that it was a long range all-wheel drive. Yes? And
Yes.
that's how it was sold to the plaintiff. Yes?
Yes.
I'm just curious. Do you know, is that correct? Or was the VIN number wrong when it spit back and said it was long range?
I think the VIN number is right. I do not know that it's not a long range. What you're saying is exactly what I thought when I first read it. We have no reason to know if it is or isn't. And that estimate from Tesla doesn't say one way or the other. It doesn't say standard or long range. But I will say this: the price that they're offering is exactly the same as some of the prices we were getting back when we did an estimate. So I think it is what we said it was, and that's how we valued it, and so did Tesla valued it the same way.
So there's been a little bit of issue with the value of Tesla recently.
I'm sure yeah.
And there's issues with the amount of car market, whether they're used or not, right? So
Right.
price in and of itself is not all that helpful to me. I'm just as a question of fact, Mr. Hegivari, and this is really it for the plaintiffs for your case, sir. There's a question of fact that I can't answer.
The judge listens closely. Facts are few, emotions high. What happens when proof meets perception?
Bought a car. They told me at the dealership that it was a long-range battery, which is a specific thing that you would want. And I agree. That's probably going to cost more than the standard one, right? If you buy
long range. It says all-wheel drive because literally this release is called Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive. Its own category. That's literally the name. That's the brand. That's the model of the product.
Mr. Hegivari, I don't know that, and you don't work for Tesla to be able to prove it. This is where a witness or an evidence would have it. So, like, if you had brought me something from a dealership where you took your car and got it inspected, and that said this is not a long-range battery, you'd have a case right now. Do you have anything documented from someone other than yourself that says this car is not a long-range battery? The title alone is not proving it to me, unless you can show me a document from Tesla that says it must say it.
I don't know how to produce something like that, Your Honor.
Because that's kind of what I was looking for, right? It would be examples of this are someone had their car repaired. They said we put in a brand new such and such. Then they took their vehicle to another dealership or another mechanic who came to court and said, Your Honor, I inspected the car. They did not install the such and such. It's missing. I took photos. I'm a licensed mechanic. I've done this for 20 years. I know what those things look like, and I looked and it's not there. That is the sort of third-party evidence I'm needing. So when I look at your items, right, I see the trade-in estimate. The trade-in estimate doesn't make any mention whatsoever as to the battery. The exhibit agreement to furnish insurance, that is from South Point. It also says that it's a long-range vehicle. There's no dispute that South Point believes they sold you a long-range vehicle.
A $4,600 fight. Not about money, but about trust, technology, and the power of a single word: long range.
And then there is the odometer disclosure, which also says it's a long-range all-wheel drive. But okay, we all agree that at the time it was supposed to be a long-range. Same thing for the installment. What I need is something from a third party saying, I looked at this vehicle, and that is not a long-range battery.
I understand, Your Honor, what you're saying. I'm just not sure how I would be able to get something like that without some kind of court order, because Tesla is a company and they're not gonna give me anything if I just ask.
Well, Mr. Hegivari, I'm not able to give you any advice right now because I have some suggestions, but that would truly veer into legal advice. There are ways to do that, and you could still trigger it again. So what I'd say is that, at least for today, because there is a lack of evidence to show that you did not receive the thing that you bargained for, right? I don't disagree that you paid a price for a vehicle that was supposed to have a long-range battery. What I haven't seen is any information that you didn't get.
Tesla's mystery model, a version so rare, even the dealership didn't know what they sold.
A plaintiff take nothing. But even though you as the plaintiff did not succeed, you have the right to appeal this decision. You have 21 days to do that. If in the next 21 days you do ascertain some evidence that this vehicle, for whatever reason you can prove it, and I don't know, that might be, I'm not even going to hesitate that. If you believe that you could find that evidence, or you do find that evidence, you have the right to appeal. You can appeal and then look for that evidence if you like. If you don't take any action, though, on day 20.
He stands alone, arguing with reason, but missing one thing the court cannot ignore: hard evidence.
Hello to you, Mr. Hegivari. I appreciate you bringing the case. It's certainly a question that again, my ruling today is not because the answer is I just don't know, right?
Understood.
But you have established very clearly that that's what you were sold. Question is,
in the end, justice is simple: what you can prove, not what you believe. The plaintiff leaves with nothing except a lesson